All right, welcome to another of Real Talk with a Vulnerable Angel and friends. I am your host, the Vulnerable Angel, Dominica May, and we're at episode 53 tonight, and our topic is how do we learn? I am joined by my regular guest, Sharad. Welcome, Sharad.
Bonjour. Thank you for having me. 52. That's crazy.
53.
53. Even crazier.
Yeah, I know. So how did we get here? We've been doing this so long now. If this is your first time tuning in, what we do here is we just like to get deep and vulnerable, sharing our personal experiences, talking about things that people, maybe don't feel so comfortable talking about in public, and usually
or in private.
Even in private, the things that are usually reserved for your closest friends or partners. And so we're going to start off this week with we're going to take one of the psychology tests that's from that website that we've been taking tests from a few weeks back. It's been a few weeks since we've done one of these, but we're going to, since it's how do we learn, we're going to take this test. I'll bring it up on the screen in case anyone wants to follow along with us and take it with us. This is the style of learning and thinking, or SOLAT test.
Interesting.
And so I will read what it says on the website for anyone interested. It says, this is the online version of 1976's inventory, Your Style of Learning and Thinking, by E. Paul Torrance, a measure of left/right brain hemisphere dominance and associated cognitive style. The idea was popular in the late 1970s, but according to modern science, this model of functional differences between hemispheres is considered oversimplified. So it's for entertainment use only. So the test is provided for educational and entertainment use only and is not intended to be a psychological advice of any kind, and comes without any guarantee of accuracy or validity. Assessment is free and anonymous, and you can save the direct link to your results. So as I was chatting with Sharad before we started streaming, I'm really curious to see how it comes up for me, because I feel like I have a strong capabilities in both left and right brain thinking. So it was that the left brain was...
The left brain is a focus on analytics, verbal, and orderly. The right side, or the right hemisphere, is for your intuitive, visual, and holistic focus.
There you go. Thank you for elaborating on that for us, Sharon. I'm glad you looked it up. I was like, I know it's creative and logical. That was a little bit more explanatory than what I was going to do. So I appreciate it.
Before we begin, actually, you mentioned just now that this test is, 48, 49 years old. What makes you think it holds up today?
Well, that's why it says, according to modern science, this model of functional differences between hemispheres is considered oversimplified. So we'll see how things go.
So it's like the simplified standard?
I think it's just the idea that one side of your brain is more dominant than the other one maybe is oversimplified. I think that's kind of what it's suggesting.
Okay.
We're all capable of using both sides of our brain. It's just more dependent on maybe not all of us, but
one, let alone both.
Some people are like me, but which side of your brain you use kind of might depend on context, right? Like if you're stuck in fight or flight mode, kind of fear-based responses, one side of the brain it might be more front of mind, and anyway, we'll see how the questions go. We will be reading them and discussing them as we go, and sharing our answers. And there are 40 questions or 40 items in this. It says it should take 7 minutes, but since we'll be discussing it, I'm sure it'll be taking longer than that. And I do have some other questions about learning experiences for us to discuss after this, because we should
and
still
this will
have
be
time.
Interesting as well, because the majority of, if not all of your education was in the United States. Am I correct in saying?
No, I grew up in Australia, so I went to primary school in Australia. I went to university in Australia. So my only educational experience in the US is actually from my I did improv training here, so I guess that counts. And I've done like acting training here, and then also my data analytics boot camp. So I had both
different
left and right brain stuff. Yeah. So
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, we'll see how things go.
Okay.
Also, like, if anybody is, I know we don't have any viewers right now, but anyone watching after the fact, feel free to drop us some comments in the comment section. We do love to hear our feedback or hear feedback from our audience as well. Okay, so let's start the test.
Let's do this.
Oh, wow! There's a variant form B. let's do the regular one.
The regular one? Okay.
Yes. Okay, so instruction. It says, people differ in their preferred ways of learning and thinking. In each item, 3 different styles of learning or thinking are described. Select the one that describes most accurately your strength or preference. Okay. Okay, so our options are not good at remembering faces, not good at remembering names, equally good at remembering names and faces.
Okay. Which one is it for you?
I'm probably C, equally good, because I'm not great at either of them.
Really?
Like, I need to see people multiple times before I like their name and face registers for me.
Yeah, I suppose so. I'm probably not very good at faces or names, actually. But yeah, I'm not very good at faces. Let's go. Oh, but see, this one's tricky because at the same time, you know how you always see that one person and you're like, and
I recognize you, but I don't remember your name.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. That's tricky. Let's go. Yeah, not good at remembering names for me.
Okay, I'm doing names and faces. Okay. Respond best to verbal instructions. Respond best to instruction by example, or equally responsive to verbal instruction and instruction by example.
I am a firm believer that if you instruct by showing, and recently I was a teacher for a few months, and I remember when you're just talking at your students, after a while it just becomes mush. So you have to be interactive. So for me, I probably go B, respond best by example.
Yeah, that's what I'm putting as well.
I
like to watch what to do, and then I can do it as well. Yes.
That sounds so wrong, but okay.
Okay.
But also so right.
Okay, our next options are able to express feelings and emotions freely, controlled in expression of feelings and emotions, and inhibited in expression of feelings and emotions.
This one's tricky because I don't think this is an innate thing. I think it could be. I mean, unless you have a condition, otherwise it's more of a choice, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it can be conditioned into you rather than a choice, like learned behavior. Yeah, because if you're kind of grow up in an environment where it's frowned upon to share your emotions, then you're going to be more in the controlled or inhibited kind of side of things. Whereas if it's encouraged for you to share, you might be more in the able to express. So I think it feels like an environmental kind of thing.
Yeah, it is. Which one do you think reflects you?
I think controlled, because I can go in either direction depending on context.
Mm-hmm.
And I am probably, depending on company, going to be more like choosy about how I share my emotions. But I don't want to like close them off entirely.
Right. Yeah, like I'm definitely in the same boat, and I think it's more of a recent learned thing. I think I might have mentioned this before, like I think maybe about a year plus ago, maybe, or even a few months. A friend of mine, like a pen pal actually from the US, she said that she needed a break because I was too overbearing, oversharing, and which I didn't even realize I was. And at the same time, I have a friend of mine who actually, at the time of recording, let me just check my Facebook Messenger. He sent me 38 links thus far, which I haven't opened.
Wow.
So it's a bit of give and take.
Yeah. There's a balance there.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
All right. So your response is the same as mine, the controlled
Yeah,
expression of feelings and emotions.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Our next options are playful and loose in experimenting, for example, in sports, art, extracurricular activities, etc. Systematic and controlled in experimenting, or equal preference for playful / loose and systematic controlled ways of experimenting.
I'm probably going to go for equal preference because as much as I like, to play it loosey goosey and what have you, and it's all fun, at the same time, having that little bit of structure that gives you that kind of aim. So it's, for me, it's a bit of both.
Yeah. I would say also for me, I mean, this whole live stream podcast series that we've been doing is probably a mixture of both, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Some of it's loosey-goosey and some of it is structured.
And that's the way, we like it.
Well, so far our answers are fairly similar for the most part.
Good.
Okay, our next options are prefer classes where I have one assignment at a time. Prefer classes where I am studying or working on many things at once. Or I have equal preference for the above type classes.
I am unfortunately very much in the stereotype that men cannot multitask, and that's true. So even though I enjoy having different things taught at me, I find it I've always found it very hard to separate and everything, especially as a film producer. So having one thing to do at a time, chef's kiss.
Yeah, I think in the context that is asking in terms of classes, yes, I agree. I would have preferred to have a class there. There's just one assignment at a time, because it feels more muddled to have multiple projects going in the same class, because you're already probably going to have that's not your only class that you're doing. You're probably doing other classes as well, and so you have other projects going at the same time, just in different classes. So why would you want to add another one on top of that?
Right.
Yeah. So prefer classes where I have one assignment at a time. All right. Our next section says preference for multiple choice tests, preference for essay tests, or equal preference for multiple choice and essay tests.
I'm an essay test kind of person. Obviously, as a writer, it's ingrained in me that you kind of put your personality on your writing style. Obviously, let's say if you and I both did multiple choice questions and or tests and gave it to a third party to mark, I don't think they might not necessarily know who was who if we didn't have our names down. If, let's say, they sort of knew us or whatever, and we both did an essay, they could probably go, okay, I know who's is who. So
yeah, I'm actually going to go the opposite. My preference is for multiple choice tests, because and I don't know if this is necessarily true so much nowadays, but for sure when I was in school, like in high school and stuff, I hated writing essays because the market, like they were so subjective. There was not like one set right or wrong. It was, your mark was determined like up to the teacher or whoever was marking the test or the essay, right?
They minus you points for your handwriting as well.
No, mine did it.
Mine did.
But like because it was like I needed at that time I needed to know what is right and what is wrong. The subjective kind of thing, it was like I had a lot more black and white thinking, I think, back then. And so when you don't know if the way that you're writing, the marker is going to agree with what you say, like obviously you have to write it in a way that your argument makes sense, and so even if they don't agree with you, you'll still get good marks. But like you might have stuff that you like, say it's a history essay, right? You have to like get all of the facts and everything right, and that's hard to keep track of all of that kind of thing, and like
without giving your own like your own thoughts into it. This happened and this happened and this happened.
So so I did not do as well in essays compared to like mathematics type stuff in school, I think, because of that. Nowadays it's different. I love writing a lot more now, but I think I would still prefer the multiple choice just because it's easier to know if I'm right or wrong.
Right.
And even if you're not, you can guess. Like you can probably cross off some of the options. It's like that's clearly wrong. So yeah, multiple choice. Although I will say I actually did have to do some multiple choice testing earlier. I think it was earlier this year, because I applied to be a dispatch person with the 911 or whatever, and and we had to do like that kind of testing, and it was weird to be back in that kind of setting.
But
I did not pass the test.
No, what I was gonna say, like, since we're on the subject, I've recently finished playing this game called Dispatch.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic game. It's an amazing story, character-based game, and part of the game mechanics are you are a dispatcher for a group of supervillains turned superheroes, and you have to assign specific members to specific incidences in your city. And I remember like thinking, oh, this is so fun, but after a while I could feel myself gripping the controller, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. It's not easy.
It's a lot. It can be a lot. Anyway, I didn't pass the test, so that's why I'm not working as a dispatcher now.
Probably for the best, Dominica. Probably for the best.
Probably, that might have been a stressful job to, receive.
Yeah, I think odds of your hair being the same length now probably wouldn't be the same. We probably end up switching that. So.
I'll have hair like yours. Okay. Look, I was trying to get a job, any job, because I'm still unemployed. So anyway, our next set of questions or options is good at interpreting body language or the tone aspect of verbal communication.
This one is tricky because I think.
Let me read all the options first.
Please, sorry.
Poor interpreting body language dependent on what people say, or equally good at interpreting body language and verbal expression.
Yeah, so this one's tricky because it really depends on a whole bunch of circumstances, isn't it? Like whether you're tuned in, whether you know the person, whether you're tired, whether you're blah, blah, blah. So this one's quite hard to say. So I probably say I'm equally good, because there might be times where, and I'm sure a lot of our female viewers can probably relate more, where they'll talk to a guy and we won't understand anything. You'll say something like, and we'll be like, "Oh, you're okay?" Okay, and they'll be like, "Yeah." and we'll just go, all right, she's fine. So, yeah. So
I'm also going to put a equally good / equally bad, because this is one of those things that is actually, as an autistic person, we find challenging in general anyway, which is just hard to recognize through body language or verbal cues what somebody really thinks. Now, there are times where I'm insanely good at it, but I need to know the person really well. Otherwise, it's not necessarily.
Can you go into more detail about that, if that's okay? So, let's say you're at a house party, right?
Mm-hmm.
You meet someone new, blah 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 blah. You tell the person tells a very sarcastic joke or a sarcastic comment. Would you be able to tell, okay, this person's clearly joking, or will you be like,
not necessarily? Not necessarily. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. I default to taking things literally. And if the person does not use a very obvious sarcastic tone, then I'm probably going to be more likely to take it literally. My son, who is also autistic, we went grocery shopping yesterday, and he said something to me that was, in his mind, clearly sarcastic, but he said it in a very straight, deadpan tone. So I was like, wait, are you being serious right now? Or are you being sarcastic?
Come here, boy.
What he said, I was like, I'm pretty sure that you don't mean that in that sarcasm, but you're saying it very serious. So I'm not sure.
And
so
he just looked at you and he went, "Ma." Oh, that's cute.
So, I don't remember specifically what it was, but my point is, even when it seems obvious, I might not be able to tell. So for me, it's more, if I can read the person really well because I know them really well, then I can tell what an expression means, and I can be, and as someone who has a history of being emotionally abused and stuff, I can have trigger responses to noticing micro changes in a person, right? But I need to know the person really well. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to be able to pick up on it. But yeah, and even when I have those micro triggers, I might not necessarily know what it is or what it means. I might just have an automatic response to it.
Just a quick question. Okay, so for our viewers who might not know, Dominique is actually quite the seasoned stand-up comedian performer. Hypothetically, I'm thinking of, let's say, performers do you know who Norm Macdonald is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And his way of speaking is very, the way of delivering jokes is not everyone's cup of tea. People call him the comedian for a reason. Let's suppose, hypothetically, you go to a show, a whole series of comedians come up in a lineup. One is just very, very deadpan. Would you be able to let the jokes sink in, or is it because he's performing or they're performing, so it's haha?
Yeah, I think it's different, because the context are clearly, but there might be times where I'm just that's just wrong. Regardless of how you're delivering it, you should just not be saying that, because how there are people who just get up there to try and be controversial, and so some of those comedians might be like that. So they're saying it to pass it off as just a joke, but it's not really. They actually do think that.
Trying to be edgy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, exactly.
You know what they say, controversy sells. So
yeah, that's how so many right wingers have gotten so much attention on the internet.
And left wingers is not just a right wing thing. everyone really. Yeah. For example, what's her name? We have, since we're on the topic of stand-up comedy, we have comedians like Amy Schumer and Nikki Glaser, who I think are quite funny, but they get a very, very bad rep that all they talk about is sex, and that's they've been pigeonholed into that. and you have, but then it's not just a woman thing. For example, I was watching an older show by Angela Johnson. I don't know whether you know her.
I've seen one of her specials, and she's Angela Reyes Johnson now because she's got married. But I know, but the stand-up special of hers that I saw, I thought, oh my god, she's so good, and I watched it with my daughter. So this was like years and years and years ago now, and I just remember my daughter like having an absolute blast and laughing watching it as well. So like that's the only time that she has watched any kind of stand-up special.
Really? Yeah. You need to get her back on that, man.
I don't think she's just into comedy like that though, so it's hard.
Who's not into comedy? Who doesn't like to laugh?
Yeah. Anyway, so you asked me. Yes, I do know who you're talking about. So did you have more to say?
No, sorry. That was
okay. Sorry about that. Sorry. I wish I'd had the opportunity to see her live, but I've not noticed an opportunity. I think I had a friend who saw her a couple of years back, and I didn't even know that she was like she wasn't like super close. I think she was playing in San Jose, and by the time I knew about it was already sold out and stuff, so it was like whatever. Okay. So
I don't need you anywhere, Angela.
But anyway, yes, I know who you're talking about. Okay. Are we answering this? We both said equally good at interpreting body language and verbal expression. That was a long discussion about that particular one.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Maybe we won't have time to discuss the questions that I requested. I wasn't sure how long this was going to take, so I'm like, I'll have some questions prepared just in case. It doesn't take us that long. All right, our next section says, good at thinking up funny things to say and or do, poor at thinking up funny things to say and or do, or moderately good at thinking up funny things to say or do.
I like to think we're both pretty good, I'd say.
I'm going to say moderately good.
No, that's not true. You're very good.
There are times where it's really challenging for me, though. And like spur of the moment, it can be hard. Like one of the reasons that I got good at improv is because I wasn't trying to be funny. Like my response was like when I improvise, my response is whatever feels true for me in that moment. And so sometimes just my truthful kind of feeling or experience might come across as funny because it's unexpected for me to be so truthful. That might it might be like, man, you hurt my feelings right now. Like, it's just like if somebody said something, like, oh, you're fucking a horrible person, something like that, right? I'm not trying to be funny. I was like, I'm gonna stick that pickle in you. I don't know, something stupid. Sure. So yeah, either
way, you're gonna have a good time.
Some of my humor comes from not trying to be funny,
unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
Those are the best kinds.
And then moments where I feel like I want to be, it can be hard to think of something funny or funny. Like I'm not always good at like, that quick, response to stuff.
Interesting.
So my answer is moderately good.
I still think you're pretty good.
Well, other people have higher opinions of me than I have of myself. Right?
We're all our harshest critics. Yeah.
we do have that kind of experience. All right, the next. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, like, it's also a very common thing for creatives, particularly comedic creatives, to have that darker side about themselves. So I can understand that.
Yeah. A lot of us have a history with depression, anxiety, or some kind of mental health issues.
Yeah. We do.
All right, or up to item 9 of 40. So we're taking our time with this. Prefer classes in which I am moving and doing things. Prefer classes in which I listen to others, or equal preference for classes in which I am moving and doing things, and those in which I listen.
Equal for moi.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Considering like the earlier question is like, which is your preferred learning? Is it like listening or is it the doing stuff?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it has to be. I mean, if I had to pick one or the other, I'd probably go with the doing. But
you like both. Yeah, I'm gonna say prefer classes in which I am moving and doing things, which is funny considering like I hated PE, right? In school, and that's like the one in school is that's what you're that's
Everyone
the only. No, I was not a fitness person at all. I hated PE.
Hello.
I hated it. No, but I hated it. I was like, just I like because you always had to change into your gym clothes beforehand, and you had to change out
back
of
after.
the end, and then like. I don't know. I always felt like constantly embarrassed. But like if I'm thinking about more recently, what classes have I taken? Improv classes. What am I doing there? I'm moving and doing things. In my boot camp class, was it just listening to others? No, I was doing the coding in that class. So in those classes. So clearly that is like the best thing for me rather than the just I think that's one of the reasons why I struggled so hard in university when I started like my undergraduate degree, because all the lectures were just lectures, 3 hours of listening to the professor talk at you, right? This is why the media studies classes that I had were so much better, because like we had to watch a film and then dissect it. And that like it gave me such a greater appreciation for films and stuff. There were so many films that like I can still remember to this day what many of the films were that I had to watch in those classes, because they were so like distinct. Like Blade Runner was one. Rear Window, the Alfred Hitchcock film. That was my first Alfred Hitchcock film. Yeah, just a whole bunch. I think I did an Australian cinema class, and we did a Picnic at Hanging Rock. I'm pretty sure that was one of the ones that we had to watch. So yeah, it's just good stuff. Huh?
Australian cinema is pretty good.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of great stuff. Yeah, I'm glad I have a decent Australian cinema collection. And I've added to it a little bit more this year because there was stuff that I didn't have and I missed that I wanted to see again.
Because ladies and gentlemen, she doesn't have enough DVDs. She doesn't.
I don't. I have a ridiculous amount. We have somebody who's joined us in the chat.
Who is this?
Yet another CS student, so computer science student. And hello, just joined. I prefer classes that are not chaotic.
Well, thank you, student, for joining us. And but at the same time, is it a bit of chaos, a bit of fun?
It depends. No, if there's too much like noise or like disruption, and that's
well, I mean, really too much of anything is never a good thing.
That's right. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, man.
And thanks for joining. Yeah, feel free to join us with the test online as well. We're only up to item 9, so you can catch up easily.
All right, let's get back to
it. Okay, so I said prefer classes in which I'm moving and doing things.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the next item 10 says use factual objective information in making judgments, use personal experiences and feelings in making judgments, or make equal use of factual objective information and personal experiences and feelings in making judgments.
I'm C.
I'm also C. If I had to pick one or the other, I'm probably more likely to use my personal experiences and feelings in making judgments, but I do try to draw on factual and objective information as well.
Well, that's the thing, because in recent years, shall we say, the American political, people do tend to go, my feelings, blah, 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 on both sides. So it's, end of the day, like I remember something one of my teachers told me. I remember when I was a kid. She said when it came to math or science, 1 + 1 = 2. This chemical mixes with this chemical, you get this. It's fact. It will never change.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need that.
Yeah. But the thing is, a lot of people think that their decision making that is actually based in emotions and feelings, they think their decision is based in logic and facts, and it's not. So many times that happens, right? They think they're making the logical decision, but it's actually an emotional one.
Yeah, like for example, they'll say, "Oh, well, the Bible or any kind of religious text. I'm not just limited to anything that says this, this, and this." And I'm like, "Have you actually read the entire thing, Senor?" Not really the best. Might want to revisit that.
All right. So our next item, 11, says playful approach in solving problems, serious all business approach to solving problems, or a combination of playful and serious approach in solving problems.
I am very playful.
Yeah, I think I might be more playful as well, because serious is so boring.
It is. It is.
Oh man, I'm so curious what it's going to say my dominant hemisphere is, because I feel like I've gone in both directions for this. Okay. Mentally receptive and responsive to sounds and images more than to people. Essentially self-acting and creative mentally with groups and other people. Equally receptive and self-acting mentally regardless of setting. This is really confusing. What does it mean?
Question. What is the difference between mentally receptive and responsive compared to self-acting and creative? Is that mean in some ways mentally receptive and responsive that's introverted, self-acting and creative that's extroverted, maybe?
But it says responsive to sounds and images more than to people.
Oh, right. So, yeah. So I'm definitely a people person, I'd say. Well, I mean, no, but at the same time, I love films and I hate people. So that's tricky.
It's weirdly phrased for me. Like I don't 100% understand what it means. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I am more of the sounds and images one.
Mm-hmm.
Considering how often I watch movies instead of getting together with people.
Yeah.
Is that why?
That's fair.
Yeah, I think that's what. I mean, I might be both, but I'm probably more. It's probably easier for me to take in lessons through visual and audio medium than having somebody talk to me about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's more of that learning by example.
Right.
So I'm going to go A. Which one did you pick?
I picked a bit of both.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, next one says, almost always am able to use freely whatever is available to get work done. At times, am able to use whatever is available to get work done, or prefer working with proper materials, using things for what they are intended to be used for.
I'm probably A. I'm pretty good with whatever. So
it's like, hey, are you MacGyver?
Yeah, I'm not quite. Not quite Angus MacGyver.
that answer is a very MacGyver response, right? I will use whatever to make things happen.
All I need is my duct tape and some rubber, and I'm good.
I think I'm going to go with at times I'm able to use whatever is available to get work done. But it depends on the context. There are probably times that I would prefer to be using the proper materials. So I'm going to go B for that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Item 14. Like for my classes or work to be planned and know exactly what I am supposed to do. Like for my classes or work to be open with opportunities for flexibility and change as I go along. Or equal preference for classes and work that is planned and those that are open to change.
I like to see a bit of both.
Same, me too. I need to have some structure, but I also need to have some flexibility.
Right.
All right. Item 15. Very inventive, occasionally inventive, or C, never inventive.
This one's tricky because can you be unsuccessfully inventive, if that makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so in that case, I'm very inventive. So
yeah, I think I'm probably also very inventive.
I think that's more the creative part, really.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I'm like, that's the creative side. Okay. Item 16. I know why you're laughing at that one.
Okay. I'm laughing. You know why I'm laughing. Read A. Read A first.
A is think best while lying flat on back. What might you be doing? It's just laying in bed. It's not like you're not necessarily have another person there with you, Sharon. Like, get your mind out of the gutter. I know what you're thinking. I'm a mind reader.
And that's the creative side again.
Think best while sitting upright, or think best by walking or moving about.
Probably C.
While walking or moving about?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably true for my daughter as well. I think...
Are you on your back, Angel?
No, I think I'm... Lie down and take it. No, I think I'm probably the sitting upright one.
Right.
Or at least sitting. Not necessarily upright, but I need to be sitting.
Gotcha.
So, and probably not best in a chair, but sitting somewhere comfortable, either it's in my bed, whether it's on the couch, like
on the floor?
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, not anyway, the sitting one's for me. I wonder which is which for each brain, which is which for that one.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because it's not as obvious, right?
I imagine, I don't know, because lying down doesn't really scream creative, but sitting down on the floor does, and moving, I don't know, and moving around does seem like it's more a left side. So I don't know. Yeah. It's interesting.
All right. Item 17. Like classes where the work has clear and immediate applications, for example, mechanical drawing, shop, home economics. Or like classes where the work does not have a clearly practical application, such as literature, algebra, history. Or C, equal preference for the above type of classes.
I am an equal preference player.
I think I am too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the thing, because I obviously as a writer, I love that kind of writing kind of class, but at the same time I still have really fond memories of practical lessons, even if it's I don't know, chemistry, physics.
How am I going to use this information that you're teaching me right now? Yeah. Right. But I kind of feel like even if the ones that are not clear, that do not have a clearly practical application, I disagree. I think a lot of those seem pretty practical application for me, even if it means you have to think creatively about how you're using it. It's still, there are practical applications for it. Anyway, equal preference. Item 18. Like to play hunches and make guesses when I am unsure about things. Rather not guess or play a hunch when in doubt, or play hunches and make guesses in some situations.
This one's tricky because obviously as a writer, it's our job to make hunches. But I don't know, I won't speak for other people, but in my experience, I'm not always right. So,
yeah.
So even though that's my job, whether let's say it's I'll probably say I I'll say some situations because obviously for my job I have to, but not all.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say some situations as well because even if I might automatically, make assumptions or guesses or hunches or whatever, I still also like to be sure. So I don't be like, I think this might be true, but I also need to test my theory.
Right. Very true.
Yeah. Item 19. Like to express feelings and ideas in plain language. Like to express feelings and ideas in poetry, song, dance, etc. Or equal preference for expressing feelings and ideas in plain language or poetry, song, dance, etc.
Equal opportunity.
I've definitely done both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, like for me, it's because like obviously if we can portray that, let's say creatively, that's great. But at the same time, you shouldn't be afraid to do it at a base level. So
I'm just wondering if it's easier for me to do it in plain language. I'm probably more likely to write it out in plain language than to express it in poetry, song, or dance. I'm not saying that I don't do those things. I just do it less often. So we're picking which is most likely, and so I'm going to say more likely to express feelings and ideas in plain language.
Cool.
We're almost halfway through item 20.
We're not doing too slow. That's okay.
Yeah. Well,
We'll
see how things go. Okay, we'll see how things go. A, usually get many new insights from poetry, symbols, etc. B, occasionally get new insights from poetry, symbols, etc. Or C, rarely ever get new insights from poetry, symbols, etc.
I'm going to go A, but with an asterisk in the sense that I think when I was younger, I wasn't ready for it emotionally. For example, there was this poet from when I studied in England. His name was John Donne, and I remember he was a strange boy, should we say? He would ask God, he would beg God to physically violate him. And I remember reading that in class, and the fact that I'm still remembering it now, and I was just like, okay, that's a new one. And but later on, obviously, like it goes to show that he was talking about a sense of worthlessness, and he didn't feel like he deserved God. And so later on, I was like, okay, I can sort of see where he was going, but but that was a new one for me.
Yeah. Okay. I think for me, I'm more occasionally. I don't always get new insights from that sort of thing, but there are definitely times that I do. I mean, I feel like that was something that I was kind of trained to do, but sometimes I just want to enjoy a thing without trying to dive deeper into it.
I remember when I was so for our viewers who might not necessarily know Malaysian media, there's a company here called Astro, which does a lot of TV and film, and I got a lot of training from them in terms of writing. And I remember one thing that annoyed me for the longest time was the way that I was taught how to write film through that medium was if you watch a film, you'd have to dissect everything, and it took me the longest time to switch that off. And it used to drive me nuts.
Yeah. I do feel like it's easier for me to switch back and forth between stuff now because I do try to just watch things for the enjoyment of it. Yeah. But I have had the training of dissecting the meaning behind things, and I will, just for the fun of it, write essays about the meaning of and the lessons that you learn from specific pieces of media. And you can go check out my blog if you want to see some of those.
And like, for example, like I don't need to have 2 degrees to enjoy Dude, Where's My Car or Legally Blonde. I don't have to.
And some of them are just for fun.
Yeah, exactly. So it's or even if I want to watch an Arnold Schwarzenegger film, I don't have to go to the metrics of what the inner beast of a man is. I just want to see him blow shit up. That's all.
But you know what? There are Arnold Schwarzenegger films that will get explored in media studies classes, because I'm pretty sure that's how I watched Total Recall.
Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I watched that film in one of my media studies classes at university.
Yeah, I remember like there was one thing Total Recall where someone mentioned, was it all? Is he still in Recall the entire way through? We don't know. Mm-hmm. There you go. But for 99 times out of 100, just turn off and go bam, 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 boom, 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 and yeah.
Okay. Item 21. Preference for simple problems, preference for complex problems, or equal preference for simple and complex problems.
I'm a simple kind of guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think I'm more of a complex problem kind of person.
Okay.
I mean, I do like simple ones just to get them out of the way, but for me, I'm probably more drawn to complex problems because I like to have that in-depth thinking.
Well, I don't know. Now that I think about it, I mean, I think for me, it's definitely the simple thing, because let's say if you have a complex problem, let's say with another person, whether it's a friend, loved one, colleague, blah, 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 we tend to put all these mental blocks in place. Sometimes the answer is a lot more simpler than you think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking in terms of like if I'm learning something new, then I prefer to have something more complex to dig my teeth into, because otherwise I'm over and done with it too quickly.
Fair enough.
It's like, well, because then, and at that point, it's like, well, that was a waste of my time. It didn't take very long. Give me something more complicated to solve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Item 22, responsive to emotional appeals, responsive to logical verbal appeals, or equally responsive to emotional and verbal appeals.
I'll take both for me.
I think it's probably both for me as well. Item 23, preference for dealing with one problem at a time. I think I know that's what you're going to pick. Yeah. Preference for dealing with several problems at a time, or equal preference for dealing with problems sequentially or simultaneously. Why would anyone prefer to deal with multiple problems at a time? I was going to say,
I don't think anyone would sign up for that.
Why would anyone prefer that? That sounds really chaotic. Like our new viewer mentioned the chaos. I'm like, no, one problem at a time is easiest. Like, I can deal with multiple problems at a time, but I would prefer not to.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah. Item 24, prefer to learn the well-established parts of a subject. B, prefer to deal with theory and speculations about new subject matter. Or C, prefer to have equal parts of the two above approaches to learning.
Bit of both.
Yeah, I think a bit of both for me as well. Like, I'm thinking about like my interest in media studies, for example. You're going to have like the tried and true examples about how to media literacy and how to kind of dissect something, but there's always going to be subjective opinions about the meaning of a piece of art, so it's nice to have that like blend of things.
Mm-hmm.
All right, item 25, a preference for critical and analytical reading as for a book review, criticism of movie, etc.
Interesting.
It's interesting that this is coming up as something that we've been talking about. Yeah. Preference for creative synthesizing reading as for making applications and using information to solve problems. or equal preference for critical and creative reading?
I'm probably a bit of both.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit of both as well. Item 26, preference for intuitive approach in solving problems, preference for logical approach to solving problems, or equal preference for logical and intuitive approaches to solving problems?
Bit of both.
I think I'm more inclined towards the intuitive approach.
Okay.
It's like, what intuitively makes most sense to me?
Mm-hmm.
It might be based in logic, but
Right.
I'm still going to be intuiting it. So that's my answer. Item 27, prefer use of visualization and imagery in problem solving. Prefer language and analysis of a problem in order to find solutions, or no preference for either method?
I am a no preference.
I don't know. I'm probably a no preference as well. There might be some things where visualization and imagery is useful, and other times where language makes the most sense.
Mm.
Item 28, preference for solving problems logically, preference for solving problems through experience, or equal preference for solving problems logically or through experience?
Equal preference. I don't think we can really do one without the other one, really.
Interesting. I think I'm probably more of the through experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's easier to solve problems if I have experience doing it. So it's a preference. I can do the other one, but I would prefer to do the through experience. Item 29, skilled in giving verbal explanations, skilled in showing by movement and action, or equally able to give verbal explanations and explanations by action and movement?
I'd say equal for me.
I think for me also. With all my improv training and so on. Yeah. Okay, item 30. Oh, we're going through them much faster now, so that's all right. Making our way. A, learn best from teaching, which uses verbal explanation. Learn best from teaching, which uses visual presentation. Or equal preference for verbal explanation and visual presentation?
Equal.
I think visual presentation. Because it probably still includes the verbal stuff, but like if I only had the verbal, it's harder for me to take it in, if that makes sense. That's probably why I'm so into movies, and I'm more likely to know about historical events because of movies that I've watched.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, like even though, for example, I studied Nazi Germany in history class in high school, there are things where it's easier to comprehend stuff through the visual representation of it, like through photos of the Holocaust, and like movies representations of what happened. Like I don't know. I think, did we talk about this before? The movie that came out this year about the Nuremberg trials called Nuremberg.
Do tell.
Starring Rami Malek and some other people. Okay, was it Russell Crowe? Anyway, yeah, it was about the psychiatrist that had to engage with God, I always get Goebbels and Goering mixed up. I think it's Goering. and help is like the way that they'd never had like an international court for war crimes and stuff before Nuremberg, so it was cool to kind of learn about that side of the post-war experience, because I'd never learned about that in history class. So yeah, learning about history through film is so much easier for me to take in, rather than being told here are the facts and figures and the dates of the things that happened. Like, okay, how you expect me to remember that? Like, tell me the story. Share the story with me. Okay, item 31. Primary reliance on language in remembering or thinking. Primary reliance on images in remembering and thinking, or equal reliance on language and images?
Equal.
Yeah, I think probably equal for me as well. Item 32, preference for analyzing something that has already been completed, preference for organizing and completing something that is unfinished, or no real preference for either activity?
Probably no real preference.
I think also for me. I like to do both.
Mm-hmm.
Item 33, enjoyment of talking and writing. You think? Enjoyment of drawing or manipulating objects, or enjoyment of both talking / writing and drawing / manipulating?
I'll go with A, I think, on that one.
Yeah, I think so too. I can enjoy the other things, but I am more likely to enjoy talking and writing.
Mm-hmm.
I used to draw a lot more, like when I was younger, but I don't do it much these days. Item 34, easily lost, even in familiar surroundings. Easily find directions, even in strange surroundings, or moderately skilled in finding directions.
I am hopeless. I am very much a lost soul. So,
all right, this is one example of us being complete opposites, because I easily find directions even in strange surroundings. Even if it's like my first time somewhere, I'm like, I remember where we parked. I can take us back there. This is one of the things where, like, you know, the stereotype is that men are better at this kind of spatial thinking of stuff. But when I was married, like, I was the one who was so much better at like finding where we parked and like figuring out where to go. I could look at a map one time and be like, yep, okay, it's this way.
I'm hopeless. I'm hopeless. No way.
Some areas are more logical than others, and other times, yeah, not so much. But yeah, I'm definitely, it's one of my gifts, I would say. Item 35, more creative than intellectual, more intellectual than creative, or equally creative and intellectual?
I am not a very smart boy, so I'll go with creative.
Which one do you think that I'm gonna pick?
You're probably good at both, I'd say.
Yep. I figured you'd probably guess that one for me, so that's why I asked. I do both. I like to think and I like to be creative.
There you go.
Let me analyze the psychology behind this. Why does this happen? Okay, item 36. Like to be in noisy, crowded places where a lot of things are happening at once. Like to be in a place where I can concentrate on one activity to the best of my quality, or sometimes like both of the above and no real preference for one over the other.
I will go both, because obviously if I'm writing, I want to be in my zone. But at the same time, if I'm watching a football match or a comedy show, or even a movie, I like to be around others. So.
I see. Okay, I that's valid, but for me, I can be in crowded places as long as they're not noisy. So like I like being in a dark theater with a packed out theater to watch something that's enjoyable, but it's not noisy, because you're paying attention to what's happening in front of you, And the only noisy part is like when, the audience is applauding or laughing at the same time. So it's not really the same. In my mind, like noisy crowded places is where like there's a lot of mix of different sounds that don't necessarily go together. Like, there's loud music playing in the background, a lot of people having different conversations, like, different kinds of noises that I can't stand.
Gotcha.
So I'm like to be in a place where I can concentrate on one activity to the best of my quality. That's my choice. That's an autistic thing as well. Like,
sure.
With sensory overload stuff, if there's too much going on, it's really hard. But yeah, I agree with you in terms of like enjoying watching something in a theater with other people. Absolutely love that. Like this past weekend, Sunday night, I went to see a screening of High Fidelity.
Nice.
In a fancy theater that usually like stages plays and musicals. Nice. And they had a Q&A with John Cusack at the end, and it was just
way. That's so cool.
Good. Yeah.
I just rewatched 1408 yesterday, so there you go.
Oh yeah, really? Yeah, they mentioned that in one of the questions. They didn't talk about it really much at all, but it did get mentioned. I remember that film. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but yeah, like he was great. And so I had never seen High Fidelity in the theater before. And getting to see it with a theater full of very obvious fans of the film was such an experience, because I had seen it a few times, but not like recently. I think I used to have it on VHS, and so that the last time I watched it was probably on VHS, whenever that was. It was years and years ago, before I was even married, I think. So getting to see like and hear like the audience responding like and cheering, like when Jack Black was first time on the screen, it's like whoa, and Joan Cusack, who is John Cusack's sister, like it is cheering for. I was like, I had no idea that like there's this like cult following that people are going to respond like this in this particular way. So yeah, it was really cool to have that kind of experience. That to me is like the epitome of theater enjoyment, when you're going to see something that you've already seen with a group of people who are also like really love the thing, or experiencing a movie for the first time in a theater full of other people also experiencing it for the first time.
Right. Like I remember, well, I mean, in more recent terms, in watching MCU film, everyone was on board, especially if it was an Avengers film, everyone was like, so
yeah. Marvel films have given that experience to me. I remember especially like Spider-Man No Way Home, and like seeing Charlie Cox join. It's like, and like, various things. The Barbie movie was another one to see different kinds of responses. I just recently saw Wicked for Good, and I had seen the stage musical a couple of times, and most recently last year. And it was clear that, and this was a packed theater as well, and it was clear that there's some people nearby who had never seen the musical before, because they were so surprised and happy with some stuff in the ending. And I'm like, you would not be reacting like that if you knew that that was how it ended. And so like, I like to have like hear that kind of like different experience, because it was like, for me, it was like, even though it was my first time seeing this film, I knew the story, so stuff wasn't a surprise necessarily for me. Yeah, so that was another example. Yeah, so I love getting to experience other people's reactions to things.
Right.
Okay, item 37. Primary outside interests are aesthetically oriented, that is artistic, musical, or dance, etc. Primary outside interests are primarily practical and applied, that is working, scouts, team sports, cheerleading, etc. How is cheerleading practical applied? Or participate equally in the above two types of activities.
I'm a both kind of person.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think I'm more of the aesthetically oriented. Yeah, A for me. Item 38. Vocational interests are primarily in the general areas of business, economics, and the hard sciences, i.e., chemistry, biology, physics, etc. Vocational interests are primarily in the general areas of humanities and soft sciences, i.e., history, sociology, psychology, etc. Or C, am undecided or have no preference at this time.
Take a guess.
B for you? Yeah. I think I'm going to go with B as well, but just mainly because they're examples in the general areas of business, economics, and hard scientists is not accurate for me. If they included like IT stuff, then maybe. But when your examples of the other ones are like history, sociology, and psychology, I'm like, hell yes, I read that stuff for fun. Mm-hmm. Just for the fun of it. Okay, so same answer for that one. Item 39. Oh, we have 2 questions left.
Nice.
Amazing. Okay. A, prefer to learn details and specific facts. I think we kind of covered this earlier. Do I like to do that? Prefer a general overview of a subject, i.e. look at the whole picture, or prefer overview intermixed with specific facts and details?
I'm a bit of both.
You know what? I think I am too. Obviously I get frustrated by having to learn specific details and facts in history. And I prefer to have the overview of that kind of thing. But there are definitely times that I like to learn the details and specific facts as well. So isn't it funny? Like it says E instead of C for the last one. Did you notice that?
No.
Okay.
Good spot.
Both options. Mm-hmm. All right, last question. Mentally receptive and responsive to what I hear and read. Mentally searching, questioning, and self-initiating in learning. Or equally receptive, responsive, and searching / self-initiating. I think I'm both.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's see what our results are. Okay, so it says okay. Test scores. Shall we read what it says? Abbreviated summary of the specialized cerebral hemisphere functions first. Okay, so the right side is recognizing, remembering faces. Left side is recognizing, remembering names. Right is responding to visual and kinesthetic instructions. Left is responding to verbal instructions. Right is playful and loose in experimenting. Left is systematic and controlled in experimenting. Right is responds with emotion and feeling. Left is inhibited by responding emotionally. Right is interprets body language. And left dependent upon words for meaning. Right produces humorous ideas. Left produces logical ideas. Right produces kinesthetic stimuli. Left produces verbal stimuli. Right, subjective processing of info. And left is objective processing of info. Right has playful in solving problems. Left is serious, systematic in solving problems. Right is self-acting, concrete thinking. Left is receptive, abstract thinking. Right is likes improvising. Left dislikes improvising. So as an improviser, I'm like, no, I need to have the improvising thing. Right, highly psychic. Left, little use of metaphors and analogies. Oh wait, no, sorry. Left is not psychic. Right is high use of metaphors and analogies. Left is little use of metaphors and analogies. Right, responsive to emotional appeals. Left, responsive to logical verbal appeals. Right, deals simultaneously with several problems at the same time. Left, deals with one problem at a time sequentially. Right, creative synthesizing, associating in reading. Left, critical in and analytical in reading. Right, intuitive in solving problems. Left, logical in solving problems. Right, gives information through movement, gesture, etc. Left gives instruction verbally. Right, uses images in remembering. Left uses language in remembering. Right grasps uncertain truths, and left grasps certain established truths. Okay, so our test scores. What did you get for the right side?
That's a good question. So for the right side, I got, out of 40, I got 9.
9. Mm-hmm. I got 13.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. For the left side,
I got 7.
I also got 7.
For integrated, I got 24.
So you're a little bit higher for that than me. I got 20 for that one.
Nice.
So you're more integrated than me, but we both use our right side more than our left side.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was the one that's more creative thinking than the logical side. So there you go. If we're more one or the other, we're more creative than logical. Nice. All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Shall we move on to some questions about learning and how we learn?
Sure.
So I do have 4 questions prepared. I had a fewer number of questions this time because I knew that we were going to spend a good chunk of the stream doing the test. So we will start with our first one. And these questions come from ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to give us some questions.
Nice.
So here we go. When have you learned something best through doing rather than being taught, and why do you think it stuck?
Ironically, I think it was actually stand-up comedy that comes to mind, because I remember when I first performed, I did it as a exercise because I thought, the hardest thing a writer can do is to write comedy, because it's so subjective, and that's the thing. And I remember the very first few times I performed, I would psych myself out by over memorizing, and it used to be exhilarating but terrifying experience. But it's something that is best done through repetition to ease the nerves, and that's something that I thought that you have to just do it rather than learn it.
Yeah. There are classes in stand-up comedy, but I don't think anyone can learn how to be a stand-up comedian just through being taught what to do. I think the real experience is learning through doing. And I'll say like the same for improv. Like you can be taught what are the main lessons that you should keep in mind when you're doing improv all you want, but the act of doing improv is how you get better at it. Because you never know how good the other person is that you're playing with unless you're regularly playing with the person. If you're just meeting up with somebody at a jam or something, you don't know how good is this other person. Like I've definitely done a jam where I was partnered with someone who I've seen on stage before, and I'm like, oh man, they really do not know how to follow the improv rules very well at all. Like I just like get really frustrated by watching them. And then I ended up in a scene with them in a jam, and I was like, hey, actually, this was a pretty fun scene. So I was like, clearly I had been doing well enough to be able to make them look good as well.
Right. And I suppose in that situation as well, it depends on how comfortable the person is, whether it's comfortable at the space with another person, whether they know them or not. So there's a whole bunch of factors that come into it.
Yeah, a lot of factors. All right, let's move on to the next question. I think that's we got some good examples for that one. In classrooms or structured learning, what format helps you the most? Hands-on, visual, listening, reading, and where do you struggle? So we kind of touched on this a little bit through the tests that we just did, but this I think gets into more deeper side of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think reading is very interesting because whenever we read something, it's subjective in the sense that this sentence about this character could mean something to me, but it could mean the exact opposite or even nothing at all to you, because it all goes down to the reader. Whereas with, let's say, hands-on visuals or auditory kind of things, it's right there. It's not open to interpretation.
Yeah, I think for me, the hands-on and visual stuff more so. Reading is hard for me to, because of I think I might have touched on this before. It's because it's reading I'm a very slow reader, and it takes me a while for my brain to process what I've just read, and I might have to reread stuff. Okay. And so it's much slower for me to learn that way. There are some subjects where reading is the best way for me to learn something. Like I feel like a lot of the psychology stuff that I know, I've learned because of reading about it. But it's usually a lot easier for me to grasp how to do something if I'm able to do that hands-on kind of thing, or watching a movie, for example, which we kind of touched on before.
Right.
So, yep, that's my answer. And look, my dad has popped in, so he's got a comment for us. He says, sorry I'm late. I like the topic. Dad, I encourage you to I know that my dad will go back and view the rest of the stream from the beginning later on, and I'm sure he'll appreciate seeing more about this topic and the test that we did at the beginning, because I know and my dad was a teacher, so learning styles is definitely something that's an interest area for him, and also because of autism, like our style of learning might be different from a neurotypical structure and stuff as well, so it's like nice to explore that stuff. Okay, so we have 2 more questions left. Look, it's nice that they're short questions because we did take a while with that test. So.
Yeah. I'm all for it.
Okay. What's something life taught you that no class, book, or video ever could?
Wow. Honestly, I think life is a great teacher, but only when we struggle, either when we go through loss. I think something. I mean, when I was younger, it was because I come from, admittedly, a very privileged background. Both my parents were medical doctors, so I was very much spoiled as a child, and only through growing up and seeing other people, actually being with them, talking to them, you realize like we're actually in a bubble in the sense that we have everything good, and it's not just down to finances as well. I think empathy is something that it can't really be taught. For example, I remember even though, let's say, you see someone on crutches or in a wheelchair, you can't really empathize per se until you go through it yourself. And when I had when I was first diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome with encephalitis, I didn't know if I would ever walk again. At the time, I could only do this with my finger. I couldn't even move my head, and that taught me a lot of things, in the sense that we take a lot of things for granted. And like, life is a far better, a crueler teacher than any form of media could ever be.
I do think empathy can be taught without having the experience, but it is easier to empathize when you have had the experience. So that makes sense. I liked the things that you said at the very beginning of what your answer was with the making mistakes thing. I think for me, that is something that life taught me, that no class, book, or video really can, is like how important making mistakes is to learning.
Right.
Like, they might try and teach you that through like movies and things, but you don't really comprehend that until you make your own mistakes and then learn from them.
Right. Like, I mean, even if, let's say, when we're younger and our parents told us about nursery rhymes, for example, right? Or things where the hero or the villain has to learn and grow. I mean, it sounds fun, and it is fun on paper, but it's only through actual, genuine life experience that you realize, like,
how important that is.
Yeah. Like for example, like, we all take things for granted. I remember reading somewhere that, society is only one meal away from complete annihilation. Like, if we all, And I remember thinking, oh, that's bullshit. That's hyperbole, obviously. But there have been times where, life has been tough. And, I've had to have maybe one meal a day, maybe a meal every 2 days. Not often, but sometimes. And yeah, it really, really hits home.
Yeah. There was something that you touched on there that I was going to comment on, but now I can't remember because I was paying attention to what you were saying. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Was it about how we're all one meal away from?
No. It was about the making mistakes thing. So, like, with I guess in the lessons that you watch in movies and stuff, watching the hero's journey in a movie, for example, and how they make mistakes. So, you can watch those and kind of grasp the concept of, like, yeah, it's good to make mistakes and then you learn from them. But if you're raised in an environment where you're expected to be perfect all the time, then that kind of like makes it harder for you to be okay with making mistakes. And so as a result, you do really have to learn through making mistakes how important it is to make mistakes to learn from.
Right. I mean, this goes back to the idea of nature versus nurture, right? Like the idea of Shakespearean kind of thinking, where are we born a certain way, or can we be molded a certain way? And I think it all breaks down to us being human. There's no such thing as the ineffable person. There's no such thing as a completely fallible person. So it's definitely something that life will teach you, even if, let's say, you are a fervent student of a class, or a writer, or a viewer of something. Life's going to give you a little sprinkle or something that will trip you up.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. All right, my dad has another comment for us here. Oh, no, wait. No, I'm going to wait. He's got a part 2 that he hasn't posted yet, so I'm going to wait. Okay, let's move on to the next first question first. Okay, how do intuition or common sense or pattern recognition show up in the way you learn and make decisions?
I like how you put common sense like this.
Well, yeah, that's what it
No. I really like that, because that's something I think, as much as humanity has evolved technologically wise, like the world's a smaller place, we seem to have lost a lot of common sense.
Yeah,
and,
but also like what one person's common sense is not necessarily another person's common sense. So you might think like, why the fuck is that person doing this thing that way? Isn't it common sense to do it this other way? And it's like, no, clearly it's not for that person.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, we've gotten to the age where reality is subjective. My truth, my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah. And I am all for, personal expression or whatever. But I mean, I find that very limiting. My truth. I'm like, really, bro? But again, that's neither here or there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like these different things, intuition, common sense, or pattern recognition, show up in the way you learn and make decisions?
I mean, that's the thing. I think that common sense is not really a logical thing anymore, because one person's common sense is another person's insanity, isn't it? So I do think that we have to take that out, and it has to go with intuition and pattern recognition, because intuition is ingrained as your it's a natural thing. Pattern recognition is something that you learn. So I like to think it's a combination of both, unless you're a very sheltered individual. Then it's more intuition, but pattern recognition.
I think my intuition comes from pattern recognition, right? Like my brain has integrated patterns so much that when my intuition tells me to do something, it's a result of very quickly processing a pattern that I've seen before, and like, this is the way to do it. And so it comes across as intuition, but it's probably the result of pattern recognition.
Right. So it's a combination of one not being able to survive without the other, or they're both intricately linked. But well, there you go. I mean, I definitely agree. Although, like I said, with common sense, that doesn't really correlate. And it's strange, because like, we live in a world now where everything, if you want to find out how many steps you need to cross over the moon, we could do it in like a second, right? If I want to order a Blu-ray version of WrestleMania 3, I could do it right then. But we're in this world now where everything is subjective, my truth. And it's strange, because no matter how far we think we've evolved, we equally go the opposite way. So I don't know.
Divergent paths all the time.
Divergence is key. Yeah, my truth.
Yeah, it also happens as a result of like what information you're kind of being presented with as well, and like, especially with these days, with the algorithms kind of deciding what you're going to be more or less interested in, and so those choose what to feed you, whether it's misinformation or facts. It's based on what you're more drawn to. Are you going to be more drawn to clicking on conspiracy theories, or are you going to be more drawn into like news articles that give you leftist thinking, or what have you? So all of that kind of shapes your quote unquote common sense.
It is. I mean, but again, it doesn't necessarily even have to be subjective. Just to go on using a real life instance, when I was in America, I became very, very close to a family whose patriarch was a politician. He was a mayor, and he was a Republican. And I became very, very close to the family, and I still am to this day. And although I do tend to lean democratic socialist, I'd probably say, for me, I remember when I was at their house, it was Fox News nonstop, that kind of thing. But again, these people were the loveliest people. I mean, for example, they invited me in. They didn't ask me to pay for anything. They were the loveliest people. And I remember one time when I was, we were having drinks and cigars out on the patio, and I remember asking my friend, I was like, "Can I talk to your dad about politics?" And she's like, "Yeah, go for it. It's okay." And I remember speaking to him. I was like, "So, Big Daddy," I called him Big Daddy, and I was like, "So, what are your thoughts on a certain someone on the head of your party?" And he just went, "Oh, I think he's an idiot. I think he's blah 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 blah. I think he's psychotic, but I'm a party man." You know, but he had all these old school conservative values, which I really respect. So it just goes to show that, yeah, unfortunately, in America, or in the world today, common sense isn't really a thing.
Yeah, it's a made up thing and has different interpretations.
Right. And just to piggyback on this, I remember like I was taught this in school. Like I think I was quite young, younger than I was a teenager, preteen. I remember I had an English teacher called Mrs. Gabriel. She was the one that actually got me in as a writer and inspired me. And I remember she told me though, or told the class, she taught the class that in Shakespearean times, the reason why jesters were so, and even previous times, jesters were very important at royal courts because most of them only had one job. They would actually whisper to the king whenever he was having his meetings, whenever he was eating. They had one job, whispering one line. You know, "You're not God, you're a man. You're not God, you're a man."
Wow.
And that's all they would do. And that would reinforce. And I remember like my Mrs. Gabriel like saying that. And that just like, even then as a kid, I was like, wow. Yeah.
That's amazing. I'd never heard that before.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, not obviously every court had that, but.
No, I love learning different things from different people. It's not
because
something
the point of a jester, the jester was the only person in the court allowed to make fun of everyone. If you were, let's say, if we had, let's say, me came up to court and I was just like, you know, just some random dude, and I was like, so and so dresses funny, my head would come off, right? But the jester, his job was to go, "Oh, dude, you smell funny," or "Oh, you walk with a funny leg." People will be losing their minds. They'd be like, "Oh, how about it?" This was the old school version of a roast, right? Where the roast master could get away with it. And you're like, "Oh, that's so bad." But you know, so there you go. So it goes to show that the role of a jester was to deconstruct this godliness or perfectness, and you're going, "You're just a man. You're just a man." Yeah, interesting.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. All right, I think my dad's.
Has he got his part 2?
Yes, I think so. I think so. Okay, so the first part says, I think with regarding autism and slow reading, there is a factor that the brain takes in data quickly. And since we learn to read slowly, the brain interrupts, sorry, and why we have to reread. I have been experimenting with speed reading and running programs that read for you, that running the reading at faster rates retains information easier, less time for the brain to wander.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's probably, I think it's probably helped my son. My son is a speed reader. He can read like over 700 words per minute, which is crazy insane to me. There's no way I could do that. And
your son's a machine.
He can get through books like that. It's just so fast. I wish I'd had that skill. I'm just constantly impressed by him, and that's why, like, I like one of the things that I've been picking up for him before we move has been books, because I'm like, he needs to have something that he can read while we're, you know, in the process of moving and stuff, because like I'm constantly borrowing stuff from the library for him because he just goes through books so fast.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because I think that the way the world is changing, our short-term attention span too is changing. Like I was speaking to a friend of mine. He used to be a executive producer who, you know, and he told me there's a lot of, particularly in online programming, coming from China. Some episodes for some shows are only 3 minutes long. 3 minutes. And I remember asking him, I'm like, what's the point? Because you can't really do anything in 3 minutes. And he just went, that's the way it's going now.
Yeah. It's crazy to me. Like, I've been noticing like my attention span getting shorter, and I'm trying to adjust and like make changes to it now. I want to distance myself from that lack of attention span and focus more. So like my way of doing it is like I need to pull away from being on the line as much, and like distancing my phone, putting it on silent or whatever. Like I don't want to have those kinds of distractions because it's so easy to get picked up and distractions, but then you miss so much information that way. Yeah,
it's really interesting. Like I remember a few years ago, I had a roommate, great guy, but he had a very, very strange habit that I picked up on very, very quickly. He was always constantly on his phone. Whenever we were out about in public, whenever we were watching a film at the house, he was always on his phone. And I remember thinking, that's really weird, but he was very outgoing. And I've noticed now, post pandemic era, I'm no different. And I've seen a lot of people out and around. I think I might have mentioned this once. I went to a Chinese restaurant with my father and my sister about a year ago, and there was a big round table next to us with an entire family, ranging from grandma, grandpa, like around like 80, 90 years old, to 4 or 5 year olds. Everyone was on their phone. Everyone.
Yeah. I can't do that. For me, like if I'm in the company of other people, I feel like having my phone out is a sign of disrespect. And I absolutely try to put my phone away. The only time I might get my phone out in front of a person that I'm with is if it is relevant. I need to look something up that we're talking about.
Or you want to show them something.
Or I want to show them something. Yeah, I don't. It feels disruptive to be paying attention to something that's on my phone that is not related to the other person or the people that I'm with. The only time that it feels like it might be acceptable if it's not related to what we're talking about is if like might be expecting a message from my kids or
a call or
something that I have to like answer to. But everything else can absolutely wait until later on.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, like even if let's say, I mean, both you and I are both avid film and television watchers, but even I admit, like, I'll be watching Netflix or I'll be watching a football game or whatever, and every once in a while my phone will go off and I go, oh, I'll play some Candy Crush.
Yeah, it just goes. That's the thing that I'm trying to fight against, that impulse, because there are definitely times where like I'll get a notification and I want to know what it is, so like I'll pause whatever it is that I'm watching so I can do that, and then I get distracted by something on my phone. I'm like, and then
20 minutes later
20 minutes, 30 minutes later, like what the fuck, like I'm still in the middle of this thing that I'm watching. So that's why I'm trying to do more of like putting my phone on silent or away, so that I can focus. And like honestly, I've watched a heck of a lot of stuff this year, like to an embarrassing extent.
We need a list of everything you've watched by the end of the year.
I can. Just the other day, I hit over 300 movies for the year since the 1st of January.
Those are pretty decent numbers,
and I've been keeping track of everything that I've watched since 2016.
Really?
So we're coming up to 10 years of me keeping track of everything that I've watched.
Have you just got like a spreadsheet on something of just everything you've watched?
I need to move it into a spreadsheet. It's in like small notebooks about this size. I have 4 of them. I'm on my 4th one right now. And yeah, it's just episode numbers of TV things. If I'm watching something live, I keep track of that. Who are the comedians that I saw? So I do try and like remember the comedians' names, especially if it's really hard if I've never seen that comedian before.
Sure.
To try and write it down or look them up online afterwards.
Do you have a score rating for what you've watched?
No, I think at some point I should probably do that, because like I might have a movie in my list that I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I'll have to look it up and like, oh yeah, I remember what that was. But like for the title, I don't necessarily remember what it was.
but it's really interesting because like sometimes, I say that, but it's something that I need to practice as well. Because like, for example, and I'm sure this happens to a lot of people, you'll watch something and you'll be like, that was a bit of a piece of poop.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a year later, 5 years later, you watch it again and you're like, okay.
Well, I've definitely picked up, like, I don't remember watching this, and then I watch and I'm like, oh, I did watch this before. I remember doing that with I Heart Huckabees, and being like, I remember really wanting to watch this, and I don't think I ever did. And then I sort of put it on I Heart Huckabees, and I'm like, no, I remember this now. I've seen it before.
We have to be careful because, like, yeah, I'll be on Netflix and it says you've watched this, and I'm like, I have no idea what this is. I'll watch it. I'll press play again, and I'm like,
that's how you can keep track of the stuff when you're streaming. But yeah, I'm trying to move away from the streaming stuff as well. I just want to watch my stuff on movies or like DVDs or Blu-ray or whatever, because I think that feels like an easier way for me to focus, because it's getting me away. Like if I'm streaming, I'm using my phone, right? And so if I have to use my phone to pause something, then it's easy to get distracted by my phone, right? If I'm watching something on a DVD or Blu-ray, my phone can be in a completely other room, right? And I'm just using my remote if I need to pause.
You're present,
yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to move away from streaming again. And there's still stuff that I'm streaming because I want to watch, and I don't want to like for the first time or whatever. But once I move to Malaysia, once that happens, I want to stick to my DVD and Blu-ray collection. That's my thing that I'm going to do, and I want to focus on those things.
You're a film purist. I like it.
It's just there's just something. Well, also with streaming, like you can have internet connection issues, and it might be buffering, or if you don't want to pay too much for the streaming service, then you get the ads in the middle of things, and then it takes longer to watch things, and then like you're pausing during the ad break so that you can because the ad break might be like 30 seconds or a minute, and you like during those 30 seconds, like you're pulling something up on your phone, and then you're still paying attention to whatever video you have on your Instagram or whatever. So you have to pause the streaming thing so you can finish the thing that's what I do. And I'm like, I need to stop doing that.
But at the same time,
so that's the downside to having ads.
In terms of like, well, I mean, Malaysian history in particular, we have a notorious piracy problem. Not as bad as it was before, but let's say even if you like, a film comes out and 3 days later it comes out on this cam DVD thing or VCD back in the day. So I mean, there's very, very similar to that.
Yeah. I do have some awareness of that. I won't say how many. Not that much of my collection is from Malaysia in that kind of context. I do prefer to support the company that has produced that. I don't. Yeah. So yeah, my collection is quite large now, and sometimes it's just a case of like I want people to know the stuff that I've enjoyed, even if I never go back and rewatch this. It's nice to have it on my shelf. It's like, but also sometimes it's like the stuff that may not be available on streaming or may never be available on streaming, and it's better to have it on your shelf so that you can watch it whenever you want, because you never know when it's going to be yanked.
And one thing I miss, I don't know if they still do it now, but if you buy the Blu-ray or at least the official box sets or whatever, let's say inside the DVDs, they'll have the extra features or even the physical paper inside with all the bonus stuff that you would never get by watching.
You never get that stuff from streaming. There are a lot of movies that you can buy the physical copy, and they come with the digital copy now as well. So you can download them and like watch it on your computer while you're flying on a plane or something, if you don't have a DVD player with you. And I like that, as that's the best way to have a streaming thing. But you can see like my collection of my digital collection, which has primarily been from stuff that I bought on Blu-ray or DVD, is on this one, which is called Movies Anywhere, I have 144 movies. Like, that's just like, this is alphabetical order.
40-year-old virgin, yes.
I picked that. That was actually a recent purchase for under $10.
But you have seen it before, no?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times. I actually rewatched it recently, borrowing it from the library, and at that point I was like, yeah, I should probably have this one in my collection. But yeah, so 144 movies I have in my digital collection, primarily from purchases. And then I have actually more than that are on different platforms that don't like cross pollinate into this one. So I have some that are exclusively on Apple. I have some that are exclusively on Amazon Prime or Amazon Video. And I have some that are exclusively on Google. And I have some that are exclusively on Fandango at home. So like there's...
Oh, wow. You're hardcore.
Because there are some... Well, because there's some studios that only allow it on a particular distributor, which is stupid.
Okay.
And like Lionsgate is the worst offender of this, because like you would think that they would choose one streaming service and that would be, they'd be done with it. But oftentimes like I'll pull up their redeem like page.
Nice.
And then after you put your code in, it asks you, which streaming service do you want to download this on? Sometimes it just gives you one option, and other times it gives you a couple of options, but it usually doesn't give you all of the options.
They really do.
And I'm like, I don't want to have this on Fandango at home. That's my least favorite one, because I know for sure that they don't like you to be like, the licenses for viewing only in the US, and I don't think that I can watch it if I'm in another country if I have it that way. Whereas I feel like I might be more likely to be able to download it in another country on Apple or Google or Amazon, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I have my preferred services. But I'm more likely to just pop the DVD or Blu-ray in rather than streaming anyway.
Yeah.
We've kind of gone off on a tangent. My dad has a few more comments for us here.
Right.
So he did say his internet connection keeps dropping out.
No worries,
but
you're good.
He does have a few more comments for us here. So he says the brain retains all data that happens to us. It is stored in the unconscious. We don't generally develop good recall from there. It is why dreams can reveal info, also hypnosis and free association.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've definitely had stuff come up from my unconscious in dreaming and stuff.
Yeah. Tell me about your relationship with your mother.
Yeah. He says inspiration for creative is mostly just accessing all that data in new ways.
Yes, very true.
And then to learn speed reading on a computer, try scrolling faster, increase slowly, and retention begins to improve. Okay, so it's a method for trying to do that. I remember when I was, I think I was in high school or just after high school, my mum sent me to a speed reading class to teach me how to do speed reading. Yes. That's cool. The book that we were assigned to do in this class was Animal Farm, and I was able to speed read that because I'd previously read it. So it was more like just like retaining or revisiting information that I already had because I had to read it in high school. It was one of the texts that I had to write an essay about in high school.
So you kind of had a leg up on that one.
Yeah. So it's easier to speed read stuff that you've already read before.
Oh my goodness, you're brilliant. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. We don't have any more comments. We don't have any more questions. So we're at just almost the 2-hour mark. So good time to wrap up anyway, I think. So thank you so much for joining us, Dad. I hope you enjoy the rest of the stream. When you go back to the beginning. Feel free to leave some more comments in the section. I don't always reply to them, but I do read your comments, Dad, when you leave, even if I don't reply. And appreciate it, Frank. Yes, but we will do another stream next week, which I believe is what, New Year's Eve for me, is it? Hang on, let me check my calendar. No, sorry. That's the following week. Boxing Day for me, so the 26th, Friday the 26th of December in US time zones, and Saturday the 27th of December in Asia Pacific time zones.
Well, Christmas Day.
But no, the 27th, I said.
Oh, 27th.
No, that's why we shifted it to the following day, because I don't, because I'm like, I'm not streaming on Christmas Day. That's not going to happen. We'll do it the day after that.
Right.
So, and that may be our very last stream for a while. It'll definitely be the last one for the year, but I'm hoping to take a break and just finalize getting my shit together so I can actually move next year. And then when we return for live streaming, I might shift tactics. It might not be Real Talk with the Vulnerable Angel and Friends. I might shift over to discussing more movies and TV stuff in the future, because that's a topic that I'm feeling, given what I said, like how much stuff that I've watched this year. What I was going to say when I mentioned that I watched just hit over 300 movies recently for the year. Wow. My next highest number of movies in the 10 years that I've been keeping track of them was 196. So, and most of the other years have been under 100. So, like, this year has just been insane. And considering I've also been watching TV series, like full seasons or full, like, multiple seasons of a TV series, is like, I don't want to even guess at how many hours I've spent watching stuff.
You've become quite a cinematic scholar.
So that might give you some clues about what it is that I'm thinking about leaning towards doing in the future, but I am not going to give away too many details about that as yet. I will reveal more at some point. Oh, my dad has one more comment for us here. He says, movie watching is kind of like speed reading, access to lots of information for the fast brain. Helps focus. Most of my high school book reports came from watching the movies, not reading the books. A lot of people do that. They're not supposed to, because the book version might be different from the movie version.
Usually is a lot. Yeah.
I remember, like, one of the texts that I had to learn in high school English was Last Chance to See by, what's his name? The same guy that did Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Douglas Adams. And it was an expository text telling, like, real life stories about endangered species around the world. And we had to pick, like, one chapter to write about. So I never read the entire book. I just read the one chapter that I decided I was going to write about.
We've all been there.
So that I could reference that. So I'm like, if I don't have to reference any of the rest of the book, I'm just going to focus on the stuff that I have to read.
Sure.
But I don't think I ever watched a movie to instead of reading the book if it was a required thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. But there are definitely times that I will only watch the movie and maybe not even be aware of there being a book version of something.
I don't know, it's tricky because there have been times where I'll watch a movie first and then I'll read the original source material. And I'll be
I've
like,
done that.
yeah, and
I've done
like
that.
I remember I was watching, was it Dreamcatcher? Is that what it's called? The Stephen King
Yeah.
film. I love the film, but I love the book even more. And for example, the Princess Bride is my favorite film of all time, and I've read the book, and I was like, it's good, but the film is still A tier.
Yeah,
so it goes to show it's bits and bobs.
Yeah, that's another film I was going to mention as one that I've had the in-theater experience with a theater full of fans. People quote along with it, right? And that was another one that had a Q&A with one of the actors. Which one? Which actor do you think? Yes, exactly. Yeah. That was awesome.
He definitely wasn't already the giant.
And then he was selling his memoir called As You Wish afterwards. And so cool. If you wanted it signed, then you could get it signed as well. So I waited in line to get it signed, and that was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I've had so many cool experiences like that living here. Enough that I don't need to do it anymore. I'm just like, if there's opportunities are still here while I'm here, I will still kind of make the most of it. But it's not like I'm fine with not continuing to have those experiences after I move. I've done enough for my lifetime to not need it anymore. So yeah, so that's I think we're wrapped up now. Right?
We just hit the 2 hour mark, so yeah.
So yes, sometimes the movie version is better, sometimes the book version is better. Oh yeah, I was going to say sometimes if it's an ongoing series, if I've enjoyed the movies but I have to wait a long time before the next part comes out, then I might read the book version. And I have a few instances of this. So one was with Lord of the Rings. I read The Two Towers because I wanted to find out what happened next. That's the only Lord of the Rings book that I have read because I found it so dry and hard to get through. So for me, the movie versions were better. Right. When I was after I'd seen the second Hunger Games movie, I got the third one digital copy so I could read it because I wanted to find out what happened next. And then the other ones actually anime. If I've enjoyed a series of anime and I want to find out what's coming next and I don't want to wait for the next season to come out, then I've read the manga. So I've done that with Demon Slayer. So I know everything that happens with the rest of Demon Slayer. I've done that with Jujutsu Kaisen, which is technically finished, but not all the manga volumes have been released in English yet. So I have to wait for, I think, 2 more of those before I can finish it. And Kaiju number 8 is another one that I've done, and I have to wait for a couple more volumes of that. So even though it's finished, I still have to wait. And I've only done it with ones that I know have actually finished the series so far. I've not picked up ones that are still kind of ongoing, I think.
Probably for the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, I'll wait for the anime for this one. Anyway, we were wrapping up. I hope you've enjoyed this stream. Join us next week for the last one of the year, or for a long time, or possibly ever. We'll see. We'll see. Make no promises. But if you want to find out when the next one is going to be after that, just subscribe to the channel and hit your notification bell. That's the only way that you're going to know, because I'm terrible at announcing stuff in advance on my social media channels, but feel free to follow me on those for different reasons, like what's going on in my life.
She's encouraging stalkers, everyone. Go for it.
Yeah, no, sometimes I want more stalkers. I'm not getting as many profile hits on my Instagram at the moment. Like, where are these stalkers? Come on. Oh, it's fine. Okay, until next week, enjoy.